excellence is not achieved by fixing your weaknesses. You didn't hear me. Excellence is not achieved by fixing your weaknesses. You didn't hear me. Excellence is not achieved by fixing your weaknesses. It is achieved by focusing on your strengths, by nurturing your strengths, by celebrating your strengths, and by unleashing your strengths. And, listen, managing your weaknesses. Myth number 2. Our strengths will take care of themselves. This myth suggests that if I'm good at something, I don't need to work on it. It will naturally develop. After all, I'm good at it. This myth feeds the notion that growth comes by working on the areas that you are weak in. It says don't waste time working on the things you're already good at. Work on your weaknesses so you can develop to your fullest, so you can become well-rounded. Question. How many parents in this place? Let me see your hand. Parents. Come on, parents. How many parents have children in school age? Okay. Your child comes home with their grades. The GCSE's result came out last week. An A in English, A in social studies, C in biology, F in algebra. Be honest now. That night, which subject will be the topic of your discussion with that child? Algebra. Actually, in a survey, 77% said algebra. Only 6% said English. So you take a look at that paper and you think, okay, English is okay, social studies is okay, all right. So what happened to you in algebra? We think the strengths of the child are not a big deal. He's past that anyway. Let's not bother about that. But this one that is your weakness, let's fix it. Do you see the problem there, ladies and gentlemen? How many times have you heard this statement, or how many times have you made this statement? Oh, he's such a natural in maths, but he really needs to work on his French and his history. Question: if a child is good in maths, where is the greatest area for potential growth? In maths, of course. But where do we put the focus? Where do we put the emphasis? In French and in history. Something tells us that if a person is weak in a certain area, then their potential for growth is high in that area. It's twisted thinking. You know how they put it, how the teachers put it? They call it room for improvement. Or in the corporate world, the politically correct term, areas of opportunity. How many of you remember seeing your report at school and you bring the report home, there's room? Doesn't that statement just drive you up the wall? Room for what improvement? I have done my best. I don't like algebra. There's no room for improvement. Get a clue, teacher. Get a clue. I'm serious. Let me illustrate. I want you to think of, just think of a scale. 1 to 10. 10 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. Performance. In any endeavor in life, any endeavor, anything. Business, career, ministry, family life, social interaction, your finances, anything. Sport. Scale of 1 to 10. You are on level 3. What's the general thinking? The general thinking is your room for improvement is 7. Right? So there's another person, scale of 1 to 10, their performance level is 6. Their room for improvement is. So you who are a 3 have a greater room for growth, greater opportunity for growth than they who have a 6. Now that's wrong, because that has already assumed that in that particular endeavor, everybody can attain a 10. Do you get it? And we're not all wired up to attain a 10 in everything. Do you understand? Some people can attain a 10 in swimming. Some, their very best 100%, when they use everything God gave them, it will be a 4. So if I'm at a 3, and you really make me work hard on it, my best will be a 4. My room for improvement is 1, not 7. But you have based your thinking on the false assumption that because you can achieve a 10 in that thing, I too can achieve a 10 in that thing. Did you get that? The University of Nebraska was commissioned by the State Education Council to launch a major 3-year study to determine the most effective methods for teaching speed reading. The study included 1,000 students of different speed levels. They were tested for speed and for comprehension, and the results were absolutely amazing. First of all, the best teachers got the best results. That's easy to understand. There are teachers who are really good, they can bring out the best in students. However, the truly outstanding results were the product of putting the best teachers with the best students. Those students who started at 90 words per minute, who were not really very good at speed reading, after the whole instruction and training, their improvements were only modest. They made it to 150 words per minute. They achieved a 2/3 increase, 66.66%. But the top students who started at 350 words a minute, by the time they had finished, their speed had multiplied exponentially, wait for it, to 2,900 words per minute. They had improved by 728%, more than 7 times. You know why? Because those students already had a strength in reading. Their room for growth was higher in that area. Is this making sense to you? The fastest readers grew the most and got the greatest benefit from the training. Let me tell you how Jesus put it. Matthew 25:29. He said, "For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away." When you are strong in an area, you have the capacity to become stronger in that area. If you are weak in that area, accept that God has not graced you in that area and let it be. Tell somebody, stop working on your weaknesses. Myth number 3, strength is the opposite of weakness. This myth says success is the opposite of failure, health is the opposite of illness, good is the opposite of bad. Therefore, strength is the opposite of weakness. Now, this is the truth. Those things are not opposites. Those things are not opposites. Strength is not the opposite of weakness. Success is not the opposite of failure. Good is not the opposite of bad. Health is not the opposite of sickness. I know you're not saying amen, and I know why. Because your teachers told you that health is the opposite of sickness. Now, grammar, yes, that's true in grammar. But in real life, it's not. Now, up is the opposite of down because up is concrete, down is concrete. In is the opposite of out because in is concrete, out is concrete. Hard is the opposite of soft because hard is concrete, soft is concrete. But success is not the opposite of failure because success is not concrete. It's abstract, it's complex.